Is that actually? That's
no
way.
We definitely
That's,
cast.
I was gonna say, Jesus.
Like
Not a very memorable
the first
person.
big time. Yeah.
That is true.
And now we are back to small time stuff.
That's right. Great pitch for the next season of ESL/DreamHack. Purge is definitely getting hired again. As we have EG versus 4 Zoomers. It's going to be a hype best of 3. EG, of course, undefeated so far in the DPC. 4 Zoomers. They've lost a couple times.
They have. They've had a little bit of a disappointing season, unfortunately. But they are still in a position where they can recover things. Some upsets are certainly possible. I think they have a good chance here as well. Is one good thing. The Zeus pick is kind of interesting because it is very good against Terrorblade. It's good against a lot of their squishy heroes, but there's not necessarily the best things either because you have to deal with the Nether Ward from Pugna against Zeus is quite effective. So that's one thing.
Yeah, they do have a crap ton of magic damage. And kind of a surprise invoker pick. Everybody, or the entire panel was discussing the Storm Spirit. But we'll see how this works out for Mr. Abed this time around.
I mean, yeah, that was an interesting pick. I think the more curious thing is what they were talking about right at the last second. It was like, is it going to be carry DK or carry Tiny? It's actually carry DK this game, and they're going to play offlane Tiny. Moo played quite well last time he played offlane Tiny, so that makes some sense to me. But carry DK, surely this is not it. I mean, it can do good things, right? Like, he'll have a hero matchup that he maybe likes. He'll be able to get farm because Sand King's going to backlane. But traditionally, DK's DPS output is not good enough to guarantee a carry position.
Yeah.
But considering they have like a Tiny 3 with a Vengeful Spirit, maybe he'll be playing more of a carry role.
Yeah, and I mean, they talked about it as well on the panel, but Moo playing on that Tiny, obviously against the Terrorblade, magic damage, always very good. He can harass a lot in the lane and probably get some early kills, depending on how this lane actually shapes up. And on top of that, actually they have a lot of good answers. They talked about Zeus being very good against TB. They have Breathe Fire, which percentage-based damage mitigation from attack aspect, which is really good against heroes like TB. So might be a tough game for Arteezy, although he only plays this hero. So
yeah,
he's had a lot of practice probably against these matchups.
He has, yeah. He's always very impressive with how he manages TB. In this case, they're beating Moo up in the top lane with a Pugna Terrorblade. They actually just ran him down. Arteezy also committing to this, doing a really good job. He knows his limits. He actually ends up not losing any last hits either. Picked a really good time to run down Moo there, which is going to cost him a lot. JRX also potentially going to beat up Moo. He got Nether Ward level 1, by the way. A little surprised about that one.
Wow. Wow. What? What?
I, too, am confused. Did he grab it for First Blood or for like, the Rune fight or something? I mean, it's against a Coddle, so I guess you'll do 100 damage against Illuminate, but it doesn't even, like, lower
wow.
mana degen anymore, too.
I mean, we've seen people misclick skills before, but it is JRX, so highly doubtful. I mean, there must be something we're missing here.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch the first, because he had it on cooldown when I first spotted it. I mean, in this case, it makes sense, right? Like, he's doing 100 damage to Keeper of the Light back. In some ways, it's pretty inexpensive. It's 80 mana. You know, basically, like, also helps reveal that he's about to cast it. If he's in the trees or something,
yeah,
then you'll be like, oh, he's casting Illuminate. Now I can dodge. You know, that kind of thing could be helpful. So
that's a cool kind of answer to. I mean, they were expecting Coddle, right? So
yeah,
they had something planned, and it's like it is Pugna, level 1 Nether Ward.
Yeah,
never thought I'd see it.
And if you Nether Blast him, it's 100 damage as well. So kind of an okay trade-off in some ways.
Yeah. Just gonna see the meta. Okay, Avalanche comes out to buy a little bit of space from Moo. Should be fine to walk away. As he uses a taunt, which you can only use once every, what is it?
I think, yeah.
That's unacceptable.
I
can't believe everybody's okay with that. Up, Nether Blast. No. Continuing to get harassed by JRX, and will be forced out of lane completely. A lot of damage, in fact, but we'll be fine. Only has 1 Tango left, so actually a pretty rough start for him in the top lane.
Yeah. Looks like Coddle was only able to stack 1 of the camps as well.
I mean, while bottom lane, we have the Dragon Tail set up. A lot of damage onto Nightfall. Has to pop that wand. Nice blocks from Crit, but he's going to take the brunt of the damage as a result. But both EG members get out with very little HP. Moo is still in the top lane, wanting to fight. Looks like they might take out JRX. Just clips him, cancels that health salve. And looks like he'll walk away save it. So still no First Blood, but tons of harass in both respective lanes.
I mean, this is kind of cool how he used it in that fight. He was 1v2 fighting with Nether Ward down. They went to go beat up Pugna, and he cast Avalanche. That's 120 mana. So he just takes an extra nuke from that. The amount of magic damage that he actually just did was pretty massive between Nether Blast and his ward being down, because he got 2 zaps out of it. So Nether Ward did basically 200 and some damage for 80 mana. That's pretty value. He's basically like forcing these situations where it's like, of course we hit this guy. They use spells, and he ends up like giving that back to them just at the same speed. And Keeper of the Light also amplifies the gold or the mana you have, so now there's more stuff for Nether Ward to reflect. It actually makes a lot of sense. It's
Don't
pretty
try
cool.
it in your pubs though. Probably won't work out so well. You see first, nope, crit died to a creep just to get back to base, so no first blood quite yet as both Husky and Costabile trying to take down Nightfall. They get the stun action going. They don't have a ton of damage to follow it up with though. So it looks like yet again, another EG member walks away safely. But in terms of the CS for him, 21-2 versus the Moos 12-4, so you can see the huge discrepancy between the off lanes, which makes sense considering how much hurt. I mean, it feels like Moo has been on 25% HP this entire laning stage thus far.
Yeah, this is what you have to do against Tiny to slow him down. Is just beat him up a lot. RT's been doing a great job doing this. He's also got 11 denies on top of that, so as a whole, pretty good so far. Z-Freak goes to stack the large camp again. It actually has been blocked by the EG side, so that gets limited. He's also intentionally not stacking Ancients, it seems like. Maybe he got there a little bit late this time, but 2 in a row. They don't really have great stack clears. That's the other issue for Ancients, so they probably just want to leave it there. With that said, I guess Zeus is not the worst. Once it gets Shard, it's easier, but I guess pre-Shard, it's bad. So maybe that's what it is. They just can't clear Ancient stacks super well, unless it was like Tiny Core maybe. Even then, kind of iffy, so.
Well, Moo picks up a Ring of Health finally. Finally some regen for my boy Moo. Should be safe, I would think, for the short term here in the top lane, but still not really securing any CS. So this is going to be the biggest struggle for 4Zoomers, trying to get off to a good start with some sort of tiny... I mean, they have it's a safe lane Dragon. I assume you still go Blink Dagger. I assume the build is not that much different than any other lane, because it's kind of a one-dimensional hero.
Yeah, I assume he'll buy his DPS item. It's going to be Power Tread. It's going to be really incredible. Yeah,
sick.
This new meta thing.
Z-Freak might get first blooded here. Yep, Nether Blast will finish him off, so that's Jerax getting credit for that, making his rotation over to the mid lane. And we have a TP bot, so EG able to farm up pretty nicely here in the jungle.
Not too bad. Yeah, Nether Ward is down, so 10% less damage from Zeus just with 1 point. Jerax still only level 2, but he's gotten a lot done on his Pugna so far. I'm pretty impressed. It's now blocked both camps as well, so no stacking shenanigans there.
As we see the Heavenly Jump.
I thought it was the leap. You're right, it is the jump.
Oh, you can see the ult from Zeus come out as well. Not quite enough to take out Arteezy. Z-Freak, another right click. Not enough. The armor from Terrorblade saving him here. And Jerax looks to be getting out safely as well. Although there's an Illuminate. He's going to try to dodge it. And will be successful, but might find his way in the grasp of Moo if he's not careful here. Oh, he actually finds him. There's the Avalanche, but no mana to toss. Not even needed.
Right,
so nice back and forth kill here for 4Zoomers.
A little unfortunate they didn't kill Arteezy. In some ways better, because then Arteezy has to run all the way back to base. That hurts some efficiency there, but Z-Freak would have loved the gold boost here.
Heavenly Jump, one of the best abilities in Dota.
Have you played much Zeus since it got added?
Zero.
I mean, pre-6, it's kind of mediocre or whatever, but in these cases it helps so much, right? Normally just a cold snap and a disable like that, Zeus ends up dying, but last time Gunnar played it, he played incredibly well, had great KDA, almost never died in the match. They ended up losing, I think he died 0 times, something like that. But I promise it was not his fault, he played great.
Of course. I mean, it's funny because it feels like Zeus, his identity is top lane Moo's going to get chased by Arteezy, and a couple more right clicks will suffice, and looks like he's going to end up going down here. So Arteezy getting a solo kill. Very rough stuff for Moo as Z-Freak gets clipped by the tornado. And we now have a 3-2 lead for EG, still relatively even in terms of net worth. But back to Zeus, his identity throughout the entire history of Dota was he could not right-click creeps, and he has no escape mechanism. Now he has attack damage, he can right-click creeps if he wants to, and he has a, I mean, it's not a great escape mechanism, but pretty decent as we've seen here so far.
Yeah,
in this game.
It's pretty decent for sure. The slow that it does is pretty solid, up to 2.5 seconds at 100% slow. It now does cast time increase. I forgot about all these changes. Can be cast while leashed. They made a couple little adjustments to it, but it looks decent now. It does 100 attack speed slow as well. You could probably use it to help find the right TV potentially as well. But yeah, it's a pretty solid skill, low mana cost, really solid to have. Double null talisman here. He's going to go arcanes next. His CS is a little bit low, that's the downside, but once Invoker gets active on the map, maybe he'll have more time to farm. But right now, things are just going okay for Gunnar. Maybe a little too worried about dying. And maybe this is one reason that they ended up picking Invoker as well, because if it's Storm, Storm is kind of in the lane a lot. Gunnar can bully him with nuke damage and can't really threaten too much until he hits 6 on Storm. But Ovid's been able to do more.
Just got vision there in the last moment. The Dragon Tail comes through, so Jarak's TP gets canceled and will be brought down. And now the tier 1 tower is going to take a crap ton of damage thanks to this dragon.
There it is.
Costa Bile.
His damage items are online, power treads.
And his ultimate, that also helps.
Yeah, helps a little bit. 3 points in Breathe Fire, 2 points Dragon Blood, helps stabilize his lane. He's going to pressure the tower now. Great rotation for sure, and that's the second kill for Mu, which helps get him more online. I actually like that he rushed Hood this game. It's very uncommon for tiny offlaners to do this, but look at the enemy squad.
Yeah.
Sand King, Pugna plus Skywrath. Tons of magic damage, amplified. Invoker does great stuff there too. The Hood is needed in this match, and frankly, somebody getting a pipe is just probably important. Kind of the same story for the EG side as well. If you're playing against a Zeus, that's a lot of magic damage, so... But they don't really have the most traditional carrier. Nightfall might, he's got Blink here. Oh, that lightning actually bounced to him.
I mean, despite having the tower advantage, EG up 2K, or Zoomers having a tower advantage, I should say. Still a 2K lead for EG, down 1 tower. That is, that's not good news for Zoomers.
It's not. Look at the lane discrepancy. It was Tiny getting less farm, which made sense. He got bullied a lot for a regen. And then Zeus also spent a lot of time. Every time I look mid, he's like heavenly jumping back towards his side because he's very concerned about getting like Tornado EMP'd or even like Cold Snap right clicked would be really dangerous. But the bright side was that their safe lane went well. Pressuring Dragon Knight is not likely. So, but the real question is, how is he going to transition this? And that part I'm a little curious on because they don't really have the most traditional damage follow-up for like a Blink stun. Obviously, Zeus is a great example of somebody that could like be sort of close by and help combo, not to mention his ulti, but until they get like Blink on Tiny, which is very, very far away due to this Hood diversion. Until then, Dragon Knight's not going to be the best kill setup.
Yeah. As Z-Freak's going to get found out here, and Mystic Flare finishes him off, so this likely will be a tier 1 tower claimed by EG. Now, if we get into the mid game, I mean, if we look at the lineups, I would say clearly EG has a better late game in terms of just the carries alone. But I would assume that Zoomers want to kind of speed this up as they're showing here in the mid lane now. Yeah, somebody have TP'd.
They definitely want to. If they kill these outer towers, that'll make it a little bit easier for them to play their side of the map. Little Zeus ulti to spot things out, I guess.
Just making sure nobody else was in the trees waiting.
They pinged the Sand King, which makes sense. If Sand King would have been able to blink in that moment, Mu dies. They probably lose their own tier 1 tower, which is quite low. So I think it was one of those, like, let's potentially interrupt a Blink Dagger moments.
Right.
But now it kind of hurts because defending's going to be harder.
Indeed. Meta is popped by RTZ. Gunnar has to walk away, and another tier 1 tower is going to go to the wave EG. Missed Burrow Strike, though, from Nightfall, but not going to matter too much as the tower, regardless, will be going to EG.
I like that Jarex is also maxed out another word a little bit. He's got 2 points in it now because it is so good against Zeus. So good. 15% spell damage reduction in a 1600 range, which is massive.
Yeah. Yep, Husky, he's found out. EMP, Burrow Strike, and will die. So 5-3 advantage for EG, but that doesn't really say anything about how this game is going. It's starting to snowball in EG's direction for sure. And that is really bad news considering Zoomers, like we talked about, need to get off to a good start, especially with the momentum of pushing these towers every time the Dragon forms up.
Yeah, that's going to matter for sure. They do have Blink Dagger or Dragon Knight if they want to use it. A little pressure on Terrorblade in the mid lane. Your favorite item is now dropped. But they do have a Fairy Trinket on Zeus. That's a really nice grab. Lots of mana cost reduction on the hero. He did max out Lightning Bolt first. Not surprising, but it's going to limit his farm capabilities, and he's queuing up Shard now. About 2 minutes till it's available. Once you get it, your hero becomes quite strong, actually, because if you think about it this way, you're getting Shard, but you also have survivability the whole time, so just a little bit of a deviation.
And mid lane, see the silence come out with the Mystic Flare. This looks to be the death of Mu, but there comes the initiation from Costa Bile, trying to go onto Abed, gets up the Tornado. Has to reposition himself. Looks like he's going to drop. No save from Jerax there, so 1-for-1 definite favor going to 4 Zoomers as the mid laner right now. Much more coveted than the offlane move.
Nicely done. And I think the Netherward must have been on cooldown at the start of that or something, because I didn't see the reflection onto Zeus, so killing him does offset things a bit. The Hood definitely helped a lot for survivability. The whole goal of being aggressive like that was to tank some of that. The barrier blocked a lot, especially because it blocks before, I think, taking into account magic resistance reduction. So very good against their heroes, but just too much damage. And once again, they get to turn into some tower pressure.
Yeah, but going to come with a defense from EG. We see a swap come in, saves Costabile, but looks like Husky's going to pay the ultimate price, but that's exactly what he signed up for. There's a lot of damage on the way out, though. Gunnar trying to reposition himself, gets off the nice heavenly jump onto the high ground as the toss on the Nightfall keeps him in place, but Sunstrike, ooh, it does connect, but it's not quite enough to take him out. He pops the Fairy Fire after the fact as the Thunder God's Wrath, in addition to Moo's Avalanche, were used to try to refight here, but Costabile just gets bursted by the Mystic Flare as Jerax doing a nice job of refilling mana for Nightfall. Doing a great job on the back line, knowing that there's not much wait for 4 Zoomers to get there quite yet.
He tries to blink stun, but he goes invis, loses his opportunity, and then just gets burrow comboed. Tough one there. 3 points now in the Nether Ward from Jerax. This hero that they picked in the first phase just ends up being so effective in this game. It's pretty incredible. He laned well against the Caudal plus the Tiny, and now in the mid game, because there is a Storm Spirit in the game, which is very different. Here's that first initiation.
Yep, the swap. That's what Venge is for. Runs into death, gets off the stun. If only he could get Ags at some point this game, but I'm not sure that's going to happen, the way this game is going so far.
Yeah, it's hard as 5 position Gunnar. I think he does eat it, right?
Yeah, he takes it.
It was just
low level
one more exort, and he definitely dies there. Yeah. Really close. So EG doing a great job across the map now. 3K gold advantage. So far, Zeus is kind of working, but it's not feeling the best to me. He's not getting any free levels. That part kind of hurts a lot. But the problem is that their lineup is not very good at ganking. Like, they've got Carry Dragonite, which did lane stabilize, has good net worth.
Oh, the Epicenter Burrow Strike combo with the Mystic Flare, and goodbye Costabile.
Well, there's the downside. He's gankable. He's vulnerable to magic damage. Even if he gets BKB, okay, sure, he can, like, blink stun a guy, but where's the follow-up? It's basically Zeus or Blink on Tiny, both of which have these, like, delayed win conditions. So.
Oh, Tornado onto 2 with the Ice Wall. Looks like Gunnar's going to take a tumble. And Z-Freak looks to be next. Nice, easy pickoff here for EG. And, I mean, yeah, just look at the farm discrepancy is kind of crazy. Because I'm not used to, like, when you see, especially with Gunnar playing Zeus, gets good farm, at the very least, in pretty much every game, but just not to be this time. 16.5 minutes, and he really doesn't have any item. Still going for that shard. This is the Avatos, Nightfall and company, or Nightfall does die, to the company of 4 Zoomers.
I'm sure some of it is just the fact that there hasn't been many gank opportunities. Both the carry and the offlaner need blink daggers to set up good ganks. And then it's a 5 Venge who's fine at ganking, but it's like a sometimes thing. And then the other support is a Caudal who doesn't set up ganks. So there basically isn't that much happening on the map to help stabilize Zeus's lane. That means that they aren't going to gank Invoker mid. That means they aren't going to go get kills other places. That's less opportunities for Zeus to steal kills. Therefore, he gets less levels and he gets pressured a little bit. And all that like culminates in him doing less damage and getting less kills. And so it all kind of just adds up in a really big way. So he has to spend more of his time jungling or hitting creeps, and it's just going to take a while for him to feel effective, unfortunately.
Go back to the early stages of the game when the first Thunder God's Wrath was used. Almost got the kill on Arteezy, but he just walks away. That's a lot of potential gold and XP.
Because then, you know, he gets a kill there, he gets an extra level, Arc Lightning does 30 more damage for all this part of the game where he's farming. He's got Shard coming, but he's dead this time, mid lane. Under the tier 2.
Yep. Well, EMP not going to connect, but the Spirit Vessel's there. Tornado is enough to finish off Gunnar in his own base. The ultimate.
They put a nice Observer Ward down and saw him sitting behind the tier 2 tower, move forward with almost all of their heroes, and commit a lot to kill him. Nice grab there. 2 deaths now on Zeus. He does finish his shard, so he's going to do 9% of their current health and damage. That means he actually counters illusions well now. Pre-15 minutes, not so much. But it's hard to know to cover him. Top lane, Costabile gets stunned. Sunstrike, he should be fine.
That's a baby Sunstrike. Still.
And it's not amplified by
True.
by Decrep anyways, so.
Now the tier 2 tower takes a ton of damage, but will still remain for the time being. 6k lead now for EG, as it feels like 4Zoomers just kind of stuck in this area of the map. Can't really expand out too much. And I mean, what kind of comeback? Road to a comeback for 4Zoomers. Like, what's the... I mean, I assume you got to smoke into some sort of a gank with Costabile leading the way with that Blink Dagger.
Yeah, that's basically what they need. They're queuing up Shard on Dragon Knight as well. That'll be a good way for him to get some damage increase. He was opting for the BKB. I mean, it'd be nice if they take a 5v5, but they just need damage so bad, so... Crit's going to spot the courier, so he's going to know approximately where they are. There's Zeus ulti. Jerax in a bad spot.
Yep, Jerax already at half HP. Does not get bursted down, though. It looks like he's going to walk away just fine. In the meantime, we see the swap come out, but Crit will be the one that ends up getting taken out. So 4Zoomers able to punish this movement here from EG. And they're going to smoke. See if they can get something in addition to this. Perhaps a more high-value core kill.
Nether Shawl drops for the EG side. So perfect against all this magic damage. Arteezy will be very happy to have that.
But you lose 2 armor on a hero with 1 billion armor.
Yeah. It's so perfect in this case. Moo cleans up the tower. They're still looking for any grab they can, but EG's outmaneuvering them. Nightfall was positioned to break the smoke. So as long as they don't let Zoomers hit their timing, now that they actually have all the items they want. Blink Daggers on both cores. Zeus has his shard, so his damage is actually reasonable. Just don't let him win too many fights here. Get BKB and, or I guess Scotty's the way they go on TB. And then they should be able to survive some burst.
Yeah, but I don't think this Blink Dagger is going to... I mean, he's showing it right here, so it's not going to be a surprise at all. EG no. And will likely play a little bit safer as a result. Although they are... I mean, I feel like players always say that they're very good at knowing how much they're ahead. Like,
for sure.
Between like 1 and 2k throughout the entire game, they kind of have a general, like a good idea how much they're up by. As we're going to see a Roshan attempt here, but Abed's going to be taken out. When I say Abed's going to be taken, I mean he's going to be taking out the trash and Z-Frame. As Roshan will be next.
I was like, wow, they got Abed killed. That's a really big pickup. Good for that. Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's the jet lag, right? This is going to be a freebie for EG, it looks like.
Slowly but surely they will take it. Not the biggest DPS, but their lineup looks real strong.
I mean, this just shows how much confidence they... I mean, even regardless of that kill they just picked up, not having the greatest Roche team, but still, I mean, that took quite a while to do, and they don't really care.
They're doing a great job, though. 4Zoomers is sitting bottom, though, was looking for a bit of a freebie. If they could do a stun into a fireball with some damage follow-up. Very possible kill, but they're actually moving over with everybody, though. Oh, smoke's going to break. Not best for EG.
Nightfall gets off the Burrow Strike. Baby Stun Strike to follow. Clips him a bit here, but there's the Mystic there. That's the magic damage they're looking for. Down goes Dragon Boy as Husky is next. So 2 dead for nothing. Still Aegis intact for EG. And they will likely punish a little bit harder now.
And perfectly done by Crit. He throws the big damage onto Dragon Knight, but silences the Venge. Doesn't give him the swap opportunity, the damage reduction, all that good stuff. And luckily for them, the Zeus ulti came out. It must have hit the moment before smoke broke. So it didn't actually do damage to Sand King, thus didn't break his Blink Dagger. He was still able to go in first. So a little bit unlucky there for Zoomers, but they sat bottom so long with Zeus that the dive was a little bit too obvious.
Okay, Avatos, but Nightfall gets off his BKB and looks like he's going to run away just fine. And meanwhile, Jerax still doing his thing to refresh everybody's mana and HP. What a dream to have a hero like this. Goodness gracious. But now he's kind of dry, you know? Got to be careful. Got to use some lotion.
Yeah. This is why people used to do the double Tranquil boots. They wanted the extra 14 HP in moments like this. But
what a great time in Dota, buying 2 Tranquil. Imagine that. You're happy about buying 2 Tranquil boots. That's how pathetic your life is, you know?
It is falling off a bit, yeah, for sure.
Good.
But it has some benefits, certainly.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this quote-unquote new patch, but Boots of Bearing? Purge, are you a fan?
Of course I'm a fan. It's everybody, including myself, definitely overbought it at first, but
yeah, I was buying it every game.
Yeah, like you're like almost apart. Boots of Bearing. I mean Drum was good last patch. It started trending right at the end, so it makes sense. Boots of Bearing's popular, but it's a sometimes thing.
I have to recommend you something if you do buy it in the future.
Okay.
Every time you use it, you scream out, "Boots of Bearing." It feels so much, for some reason, it just feels more impactful.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah. Because you spent 30 minutes buying nothing but Boots of Bearing.
It took the entire game to afford it.
Yeah, rather than buying like a Force Staff or a Glimmer Cape.
No, we don't need such thing. You get a second and a half of not being slowed. How good is that?
It's actually quite good. And
I'm not
against
even
certain
memeing.
spells, it's god tier. Like Ice Wall, stuff like that.
Oh, Avatos, okay. Goodbye, Mr. Crit. As Moo gets completely depleted of mana thanks to the EMP, but brought back up to a respectable amount thanks to Z-Freak. With a nice swap there from Husky.
Ooh, good force.
Yeah, Nightfall is not going to get off a good ult at all as a result of being able to mobilize here from ForZoomer's side. Costabile pops the Dragon Form though, and see if if EG wants to fight. They do have meta continuing to go as well.
That wasn't too bad for the Zoomers. They can just push forward and pressure the tier 2 tower now while EG ends up holding the Tricamp, but they just don't really care. Because realistically, they're just going to get some tower pressure in. As long as they don't allow EG to run into them with their whole squad, it'll be all right. RTZ can push pretty quick, but now they're teleporting.
Yeah, Costabile's ult is starting to dissipate as Moo gets a nice Avatos. They're going to blow up Nightfall pretty much right off the bat, and Abed gets off a Deafening Blast, but you can see the right click from RTZ. There's a Mystic Flare as well. It's going to be enough to take out Costabile. So 1-for-1 at this early stage of this engagement. Moo able to TP out in the midst of EG. And Husky trying to bring down Jerax. There's that Terrorblade Sunder on a support. RTZ actually saves his teammate and doesn't die.
He was just paying him back for all the heal that he got before. And now right back, dude. What's happening? Is this some kind of a net positive? No, that was a great Sunder there to keep him alive. Zeus had a good chance of killing him once his Lightning Bolt came off cooldown. But at that point, yeah, a little overcommitted. The Sunstrike plus Decrypt, pretty effective. It looked really good for Zoomers, though. They double swapped there.
But he won't save him here, unfortunately. Jerax ends up falling. It might be at the price of... They really wanted that kill on Pugna. I can't blame him. He's been really annoying this game.
Oh, he killed Pugna to do that. Okay. All right, well, yeah. Less damage reduction, at least. But the fight started out so good for Zoomers. They double caught heroes. They killed Sand King right away. But getting those extra kills on the end was a little bit too hard, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just great double Avatos. They get the stun fall up on Sand King. He dies. The Netherward's in a perfect place, though, reducing damage. Husky throws a combo. Dragon Knight gets cleaned up. Should have BKB ideally from there at that point, but we're there a little behind, obviously. Moo gets the TP out, and then it looked like they were going to be able to get Pugna for sure, but the great Sunder play.
Oh, yeah, that's Sunder. Of course, he has Aegis, or he had Aegis. It actually expired as we were looking at this replay.
Of course.
So it wasn't that risky. We tried to make it more exciting, perhaps, for the audience, Birds. That's what you do. You try to entertain.
Tell me about entertaining.
Well, that's what we're attempting to do right now. We're failing miserably, but the attempt is it's a good effort, is what I like to say.
Okay.
That's BKB almost online for Abed. You're going to see the Dragon Tail from Costabile. Will Jerax make it? They're not even going to go for him because they're just going to turn this around, EG is. And that is going to be 3 dead. Make it 4. Basically, not even a team fight, really.
They can't fight. They've got no BKB on Dragon Knight, and this is one of the issues with the 1 position. There's just a big delay between, like, first you got to wait till you get the Blink, and once you get Blink Dagger, you got to wait for everything else. If, like, you don't have, like, an amazing period of time, you're not going to get Shard and BKB at a good time, and your net worth is, like, way too high for the value of killing you. And he just dies so easily against magic damage, which they have in spades. So...
Be a full set of racks, at the very least. RTZ, Sunder's Gunner in the base, gets swapped in. Sunstrike is enough this time. Not a baby Sunstrike anymore. It is now obese. It's an American Sunstrike is probably the best way to put it. It's going to be a full set of racks in favor of EG and likely game 1 going their way, unless there's some miraculous comeback here. But like you said, based on the draft, they had to get off to a good start and just wasn't really the case.
Yeah, the draft stuff for ForZoomers has been weird. Maybe this time?
Yeah, that's a pretty good setup onto RTZ. Avalanche is there as well, so 70 seconds on the deck, no buyback. So EG's going to have to head back to base. It costs 2 buybacks from ForZoomers, but I'm sure they'll take it.
It's pretty good. This is the value of a tiny offlane usually thrown back.
Oh boy, they're going to come back in, it looks like. Oh, Force Staff actually saves them there. Mystic Flare not quite enough. And instead, they're going to lose another member of EG, but it does cost them Moo. Everybody else is going to get out.
Takes the first juke path instead of the second or third. Ski anticipated second or third, so they missed that one. But the kill on Ortiz is quite good. 571 plus 900 gold, so little gold swing, little experience swing. Losing Tiny was a little rough, unfortunately, but once again, too much magic damage there.
Well, Costa Bile does have the BKB, as we saw, so that is the first use.
And this is cool. Like, if they do get Ags on the hero, he will be significantly stronger. He's going to have 25% more magic resistance there. Pair that with a hood or something else, yeah, his survivability is going to be massive. In fact, they still have 2 tier 2 neutral items available to get. Maybe he could get another shawl as well.
If only it worked that way. In my experience, you never get the good ones, unless it's the other team. Sunstrike, not going to be there.
You sound like a Dota pessimist. I don't know what it is, but maybe you just can never be satisfied when you play Dota games.
Isn't that a double negative? A Dota pessimist? Isn't that the same thing?
I think if you average out Dota players, you are certainly on the more negative side.
No.
Everything is a personal attack on you.
No.
You never drop the items you want. If you do drop it, you go, thank God, it finally dropped for me. Is that a direct quote?
That's probably true, yeah. But I will say, and I'm very proud of this, I've never abandoned a match in my entire 15 years of playing Dota.
Impressive.
Never abandoned once on purpose. Like, it was always like an internet outage or something like that.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those. The first time that happened to me, I felt really bad. I was like, oh no.
Never destroyed my items, so I'm still a human being. I'm not subhuman quite yet. AKA pro level is what we're really talking about here.
That's all. You have to.
That's what you need to be a pro player, is to break your items at some point in a pub. I think is a prerequisite.
Well, Zoomer's about to break their items if they lose this fight.
I would hope not. Although that's a common winning strategy. That you do that at the end of the game to ruin the stats. Oh my God, Moo is getting destroyed, but pops the BKB finally. Not enough to do much because the rest of his team is not in the vicinity. And Arteezy ended up getting to the other side, getting an easy kill, and Moo, now that the BKB is completely out, will be brought down as well. So 2 for nothing. BKBs exchanged on both sides.
That was cool by Arteezy. He knows he's super far ahead. He just needs to get on top of him. He blinks aggressively, pops BKB, gets reflection off, cleans up the Venge. It's just a lot easier for him to deal with these heroes, because if the other EG hero's going first, there's a Force Staff or swap to save somebody. But if he jumps in, it's like, all right, good luck stopping all this physical damage. I don't care if you Force Staff, I'm going to catch up. So, unfortunate for Zoomers that they break smoke the same time as a higher net worth enemy, but no swap for 30 seconds. I mean, Arteezy doesn't have to worry anymore.
Yeah. So that's going to be a full set of racks in the mid lane, and now going for the Mega Crypt is Costa Bile, gets EMP'd, stuck inside that Ice Wall, gets Force Staff by, I believe it was Gunner. Does he have a Force Staff? He does not, but he dies in the fountain regardless, and this is going to be a GG going the way of EG. So game 1, a shellacking, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they won very convincingly. AG definitely played really good. It felt to me like a typical